Hi everybody, and welcome to my little Italian house. It is boiling here today, so we're gonna step inside ASAP, but I thought it would be a good time to give you a complete house tour. Can you believe I was here 6 years ago, just before the pandemic, when I first saw my little house. And I remember walking in here and thinking, oh my gosh, please be the house that needs a little bit of restoration. Well, maybe a little bit more than just a little bit, but a house that I could live in and then do the restoration, etc. And when I remember walking up to this house and thinking, please let this be the one for sale. It's perfect. It's so close to the piazza. I can walk for my cafe every single morning. But also there needed to be some work done on the inside. It's like my perfect project. So step inside and let's get a full tour 5 years after all my renovations are pretty much finished. Come on in. So welcome to the inside of my little Italian house. This is one of my first finds, was this great coat, hat, bag hanger. And I love it. You can see I've collected many hats and baskets over the years of being here, and I wear one every single day. So what I thought I would do with this tour is just point out 3 to 4 fittings, if you like, or pieces of furniture that I'm really, really fond of. In fact, I'm fond of everything, but that will take forever. So let's start here in what I call the sitting room. And huge shout out to my husband Luke, who's behind the camera filming me. He might occasionally ask a question or two.
Shout out to me.
So we're walking into the sitting room, and this room actually didn't need so much work. It needed fresh paint, but the floor was all right. So I knew I was going to come onto this room later. It was really the upstairs and the kitchen that I was like, I need to get my hands on. So in here, one of my prized possessions and finds is this Parisian daybed. I absolutely love it. I found it on an online auction site of secondhand called Silenzi. And it was just perfect because it fit perfectly up against this wall. Now it did have sort of another end here. So here's the front and here's the end. And we decided to carefully take it off because it became too boxed in. And then recovered this mattress, if you like, with this lovely ticking. And you guys know how much I love cushions. These are cushions, I have plenty of them, and these are all from Malcolm, all of these samples really of fabric that he had in his office. Many of you know Malcolm. He's the interior designer that and also a friend that came here and helped me create this space. So again, these were upcycled, which I love. And that's one of the themes here in my house when I look around. Pretty much everything you see here is upcycled, apart from a couple IKEA sofas. I kid you not. So that is number one. I love this daybed. Getting it here was absolute a nightmare. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I remember I found it from this lady, again, through this online site called Silenzi, and it was on the 4th floor of her apartment in Paris. So we had to organize for the shipping company to come, and they couldn't get it through the doorway. It had to go out the window. Then they, again, used like a crane-like piece of equipment to lower it down onto their lorry, and then it traveled all the way here. So that's number one. Number two is this marble coffee table. It is absolutely fantastic. And again, I found this at one of the flea markets that I go to all of the time, Il Piccolo Scrigno, PG and Deborah. In fact, so many pieces of theirs now reside in this house. But I love the colors. Because you can see here we've got a kind of an aqua and aubergine color scheme going on here. And when we saw this piece of marble, we thought this would be absolutely perfect. And then really lastly, oh gosh, I'm gonna pick 3 or 4. It's really, really hard, but I love my chandelier here. And again, this was also found at Il Piccolo Scrigno, again, upcycled. I think it's small enough, but yet sort of has a statement as well in this room. And then, I should point this out. This is the brand new, when I say brand new, handmade lampshade that Luke's cousin Tony took me to near her, and they handmade this, and she and I picked out the colors. You might have seen that in a previous video. Picked out the sort of the material and of course the fabric that goes on here, and it's fantastic. And the base comes from Lucca. I found this in a shop in Lucca. And then dotted around are just different pictures that I found at different flea markets here in Italy and even some in London. One more thing before we head into the kitchen is this space. Now this was quite, I don't want to say a controversial space. So many of you had such great ideas, and my first thought was to build a cabinet in there, to actually have a cabinet made and then put the TV in there. But the more that I looked at it and thought about it, and the lovely terracotta, original Koto terracotta tiles underneath, I wanted to keep that aesthetic. So this is made out of castagna. And I'm just gonna come quickly around here. I can push the TV back, and then I can bring the TV forward and it slides out. And this is a beautiful piece made by Matteo. Perfectly, it's actually perfect. And then it kind of hides the TV back there. Oops, let's just put that light back on. So yeah, this is the sitting room, and it's become this really cozy space. I have my special magic weapon here, because before I head off to Italy, or really before I travel anywhere, I always spend a little bit of time, extra time, looking after my skin, especially when you're gonna be high up in the skies, right? And I think we're all in holiday or vacation mode at this time of the year. So really getting excited about sunshine, like long lunches outside, but flying can be incredibly dehydrating. So this has become one of my favorite pre-travel rituals. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have been a fan of Foreo for years, and I never, ever, ever travel without this. My FAQ 202 by Foreo. This is their FDA cleared silicone LED mask, and it's become a real staple in my skincare routine. So before I put it on, I always apply a few of the FAQ red light peptide serum, which really helps to enhance the LED treatment. Then I simply switch it on and let it work while I'm finishing my packing or making one last coffee before heading to the airport. And the mask uses 8 different LED wavelengths, including red and near infrared light, to target everything from fine lines to redness to dullness and really uneven skin tone. And in fact, you guys, Foreo's own clinical testing showed that FAQ 202 is clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, get this, by up to 32%, and significantly improve skin firmness and elasticity in just, bingo, 2 weeks. And when I'm actually in Italy and I want a quick glow before heading out for dinner or an evening passeggiata walk, I always reach for my UFO 3. It's like a 2-minute spa treatment that fits perfectly into my day. Foreo is celebrating its birthday with one of its biggest sales of the year, so now is the perfect time to treat yourself before your own holiday. So click the link in my description or just scan the QR code and use my code Montague35 to receive an extra 35% off almost all Foreo products, including products that are already on sale. That means you can enjoy up to 50% off. But don't wait, you guys, because this offer is only available for a limited time. Right, my skin is ready, my suitcase is packed. Now, let's get back to Italy, shall we? Now, this was the last big project. So many of you followed along with this. I'll turn that light on here. But this is my dream kitchen. Literally my dream kitchen. There's still bits that perhaps I need to upgrade. Luke and I found this table, but now we've got it in here. We do kind of think we need a slightly wider, slightly longer table, but that's for the future. But all of this is, in what sense, what I call an integrated kitchen, integrated cabinets. We've got an integrated refrigerator, integrated freezer here. And these were all handmade by Matteo Stefano and his team, which they're just down the road in Verrucola. Malcolm and I chose the colors. So you can see here, you've got kind of this sort of light moss green color alongside really a wonderful cobalt blue. And these tiles we found at Recuperando just outside Forte de Marmi. And I remember picking these, and I love this sort of iridescent oyster colors coming from all of these different tiles. And in fact, I'll pull that down so you can see that a little bit more. And then you've got these wonderful hand-painted tiles. So overall, it's really hard for me to pick in the kitchen, like what are my favorites, but clearly it's just extraordinary. Now, if you're wondering about the handles, the one thing I did bring back over here from England were these handles. These are proper, beautifully made. I found them on Etsy hardware. And even when Matteo saw these and he was installing them, he was like, these are really good. And I was like, yeah, these are top notch, excellent. I adore them. So that's probably like, ooh, up there, my favorite. And then really just this space here. I love it. I love this space that I can sit and have coffee. In fact, I was working here today. We recovered this chair recently. This was a 50-pound find in England. Fabric is that Hungarian grain sack. Brought it over here, had it recovered locally near Aula, and it works just brilliantly. And I will point out, I did bring something. Maybe you don't know this, Luke, but do you recognize that curtain pole?
Is it a Mapperton curtain pole?
It is, indeed. It's a Mapperton curtain pole. And I brought that. I think it works so well. Then, of course, I love this dresser here. But in particular, I'm just going to bring these out. My plates. Oh, I love my plates. So Luke and I went to an area, Abruzzo, wasn't it, Luke? Yes.
That's right.
And we went to Castelli and we found, and it's known for its sort of hand-painted ceramics. And there was a chap there just doing beautiful work. We saw these and we asked if he could make 12 place settings, and he did, in 4 different colors for the cockerels. And then, of course, he signed the back. So E. Degiolio. There we go. Again, everything here has been upcycled. So even my chairs, and if you remember, I went to an area called the Garfagnana and I visited Faye, and she does all of these amazing sort of block printing, and I created this design based on the colors here in the kitchen, but also the tiles there, and that was so fun. And then brought them back to England and had them properly covered on either side. So here in the kitchen, when I look around, it's just wonderful to see that I, in fact, have a story for I can literally look around and think there's a story to every single piece in my kitchen. From the pictures hanging on the wall, finding them at the antiques market in Fivizzano, local markets, to the demijohn lamps, finding them at a flea market. That's what's so amazing. I literally can point to every single piece here and say where it was found. It wasn't just bought online or bought in, a superstore. There was a lot of effort and time, and I think feel to making sure that what I brought into the kitchen resonated with the look I wanted. So this sink is a perfect example. So Malcolm and I went to Il Piccolo Scrigno again. Deborah and PG are everywhere in this house, and we found this sort of in the dirt. And Malcolm picked it up and he said, we can upcycle this. This is a fantastic Antico Marmo Lavando, so fantastic old marble sink. It's just brilliant. And then we were able to make it work with the marble that you see here, and that was through the help of Matteo when he was installing, of course, the kitchen, and he knew the sink here. I mean, the measure, everything's just, it is perfect. And there's my collection of demijohns there. I slightly have an obsession. And of course, I have an obsession with my chopping boards as well. So lastly, I want to point out the fromagiera, which is, it's got holes on the side because that's where the cheese was stored and it could breathe. Now it's, my pantry, if you like. It's got all my colored glassware up there, and it has some vases down there, and this is where pasta, etc. Is held as well. So you can find everything in here. Organized, at least. But I'm really, really pleased with this space. There's a couple additions, a lamp here or there that I want to put in, but pretty much the kitchen is finito. So let's head upstairs. One thing I forgot to mention before we head upstairs is this fabric. You're probably like, why is that hanging on the chair? So this is secondhand fabric that Malcolm found, and I love it. I brought it over here, and I'm gonna have this chair recovered because I just felt that this cream was just a bit too stark. And this, again, fits in nicely. You've got this ticking of the aubergine, which is, again, picks up from this blanket, which will of course go over it, this lovely quilt, which I found in India. So of course these stairs, well, they were sort of a brown, horrible wood color. They really were. So Nestor and I, our youngest son, painted these black. I got that from actually Malcolm when we renovated a cottage over at Matterton. We did the stairs black and then put a runner, and I found this runner it's a jute runner obviously, on Etsy. I just think it complements, of course, the wrought iron that you'll see throughout the upstairs. So let's start with back here first, and then we'll travel this way. Right, let's turn on some lights, that's for sure. Great. I love the corridor. I love this painting that we have kind of halfway up, the different colors in the rooms, which you're going to see. I love this. So I painted all of this because I wish I could have painted all the other rooms, but I didn't have time, but I was able to do the entire corridor. And this was found at PG and Deborah's, big piece. We had it cut, and then these were handmade by somebody here in Fivizzano. I think it's absolutely perfect. I love just putting bits on here. But the rug in particular, I found this again on Etsy. It's a Turkish rug shipped over from Turkey. Again, the colors are really complementary, in particular to the painting that I found in London at an auction house. And this is of Firenze, of Florence, quite an abstract picture. I think it's beautiful. So I was working, that was my focal point, and then I was able to find this rug. Malcolm and I found both of these wall sconces at a flea market. And then again, these are handmade marble paper lampshades found on Etsy. This room, when I arrived in 2020, there was a door here, and I asked what was behind the door because it was locked, and they said it was nothing, it was just like a closet. So of course it was a huge surprise and a brilliant surprise when I arrived the following year in 2021 with keys in my hand, and this was of course unlocked, and I realized when I opened it that there was plumbing. So when I opened, this wall wasn't here. There was in fact plumbing for a shower. There actually was sort of like a shower tray underneath. And I had to think very hard about what to do with this space, whether keep it a separate shower room or develop it into a utility space, and then block out that right here, put a wall in there, and then open it up on the bigger bathroom, which you'll see in a second, in order to create a shower there. That's exactly what we did. So right now, this is just storage for all of my sheets. This is clearly where the washing machine is, and I put in an extra loo and an extra sink as well. So it only had one loo when I arrived. Now it has two. It only had one sink upstairs. It now has two. Brilliant storage space. And now the huge bathroom. Well, at least I think it's big. And of course, I remember arriving here, and there was just this, again, shower with a base, with a trickling sort of, pipe coming out, if you like. And I did shower many, many times here, but we had to recreate this space so that it was comfortable. And I'm going to point out a few things that I love. Number one, the bathtub. Found on the side of a road, stopped, sat in it, thought it was brilliant. I loved the patina here. Many people were like, oh no, just have the whole thing re-enameled. Absolutely not. I had the inside, it was sent to Florence, had the inside re-enameled, but kept the outside, this patina here. I really like it. I think it's really charming. and then there's a clear coating on the outside of it, so it'll stop kind of further rusting if you like. But again, you can see the painting that we've decided to do this sort of painting up to this line all the way across. What I also love around this bathroom are these photographs which were taken by me. And I just went around for Visano and found some interesting door handles and had them blown up, black and white, framed, mounted and framed, and I think they work really, really perfectly here. And I'm just going to point out this recent find, again, wrought iron with this fantastic marble top. And originally I thought I was bizarrely going to put it in the kitchen, but it works perfectly here. I mean, look at the color of the marble, and that's what's so fascinating about Italy, like all these different colors of marble that they have due to being the home of marble, if you like. And I think that works really perfectly there. And then lastly, what I really want to point out is this mirror. So this is a Murano mirror, and it was one of my first finds here. When I got the keys to my house, I had no idea where it was going to go, but I absolutely loved it. I love the design here. It's a beautiful mirror, and then it just, of course, worked out that it's here in the bathroom. I also want to just point out the shower. So again, there was a wall here when I first arrived. We broke through the wall and created the shower space that you see today. Absolutely brilliant. This is just a three-parter. I love this one. Deborah painted this, found this at Deborah and PG's. Again, they're everywhere in this house. Il Piccolo Scrigno, same with this marble, had it cut, and then a modern sink here. Yeah, I love this space. Love it, love it. So the guest bedroom, which I do really call the boys' room. I have 3 boys, so I needed a bedroom that was a little bit masculine. Where do I even start here? There are so many great finds in here, and again, everything I see here has been found at flea markets, literally everything. I can hardly point to anything that was sort of bought in a shop. But let's just start with the headboards. Malcolm and I found these, again, Il Piccolo Scrigno. And our first thought was to recover this with some type of fabric, and because it is a headboard, but when it was cleaned, look at how beautiful this hand painted headboard is, and just the detail here. We decided, no, we're going to keep it as is. And I know many of you saw this on one of my first YouTube videos here on the channel and said you must keep those headboards as they are, and that's exactly what we did. So then around the room you have wonderful Antico maps of Italy. So this, for example, you can see is the island of Capri is down here, and you've got Spiaggia Romana, so you've got Rome right up there. And again, these are dotted around, and Malcolm found these, 5 of them. They were €1 each, so all 5 euros. Then we brought them to Filetto, which is about 30 minutes from here. Fantastic framer there. In fact, they've done a lot of the framing you see around my little Italian house, and did just such a brilliant job. Then these, okay, I know that this is quite odd to sort of point out, but I love them. These are vintage hangers found on Etsy, velvet here, silk here. I mean, brilliant find, because this room is too small to have a wardrobe in. And so Malcolm and I had to think, right, well, my boys come and stay here, where are they going to put their clothes? Obviously, we found this, again, Il Piccolo Scrigno, Deborah and PG, we had it painted. We knew the color schemes, again, the sea green color with a lovely, very much a darker blue, but a similar blue to what's in the kitchen, to be fair. Had this desk painted. There are some drawers underneath that the boys can put their clothes, but where are they going to hang things? And this is where we came up with this idea of a peg rail.
The boys don't unpack anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It's true. It's so true. Boys, if you're watching this, when you come here, you must unpack and use my really nice hangers. Please, your mom would really like that. And I love this just original feature door. Now, it's been blocked up on the other side, but clearly this would have been probably not bedrooms, but perhaps almost like the upstairs sitting room, maybe into a bedroom, perhaps, but lovely original feature to keep here. So yeah, this is, oof, I love this room. I think it's so beautiful. And before we head upstairs to the terrace, the second bedroom, which is the primary bedroom, I'm obviously going to point out this fantastic find. Cameraman, do you want to turn the light on? Yes. This 4-poster bed. This, oh my goodness, getting this here was crazy. Again, I found this on this fantastic online secondhand site called Silenzi. It's secondhand from Italy, Belgium, I think Austria is on there, and France. And this was found in France. I love it, love it, love it. Again, it's got sort of this rusted patina. I love the swirls and twirls. No idea getting this here was just a nightmare. And then Nestor and I put this together, which we did. I remember putting it together, and I was so happy that it actually fit in here. But I love this 4-poster bed. And again, looking up at that light, that was found at Il Piccolo Scrigno. And then other things I'll just point out. This is a wonderful glass mirror, obviously, but I'm going to point this out as well. Just a couple of things that are very Italian. This is a Venetian mirror found on Silenzi. These Murano lovely lamp bases found at Il Piccolo Scrigno. Same with the desk. Thank you, Deborah, if you're watching this, because of course we would find objects, we would choose the paint color, and then she would distress them as well. These gorgeous chairs, I got a pair of them. Look at this, the fantastic sort of very, very light blush color works against the wall here. Again, you've got this a line of paint. It goes all throughout the upstairs, the second floor here. Brilliant. And the pictures here were found at the antiques market here in Fivizzano. Again, brought them to the framer in Filetto, worked out the color for the mounting. I think it's the right color. And then the frame as well. So it's, again, going around each room, there was really thought that went into every single piece that you see here. And the last thing I do want to point out, which I love, and this again was a Malcolm idea. We were in Bridport, which is near Mapperton, at an antiques shop, and we found these fantastic glass frames. Look at, you can see they've been etched all around here, almost like, what's that called, Luke, where it's sort of fluted, thank you. Really, really beautiful. And when the children were younger, I had their profiles, silhouettes made. That's Emma, Jack, William, and Nestor. And so I made a photocopy of them, put them on some thicker paper, cut them up myself, and inserted them in there. I really like that. We're heading up, and if you watched one of my recent videos, you will know about this lovely column. I mean, this black marble with, again, lots of threads of oro gold throughout, even argenta as well, silver and gold throughout, is a real, I think it's a wonderful piece. Right here, I just am looking for a much bigger hurricane lantern to go in. This one's too small, but you get the drift. Heading up to the terrace, which has for me the best views. Obviously, I mean, it's one of the reasons that I bought this place. When I walked in, I mean, I had no idea that there was going to be a terrace, and then we kept going up, and I thought, oh my goodness, this view. I want to create a wonderful space to have an aperitivo for the kids to hang out and just to breathe in Italy. But Luke, you just pointed that out, didn't you?
Well, this is kind of tucked away, but I think this is actually the most interesting picture in the house because it's so colourful, and it's of obviously an Italian town square, and it's just full of life and energy, and I think we should hang it somewhere else.
Okay, well, we could hang it in the kitchen, possibly. What do you think? Anyway, food for thought. So this is my salon hang. And again, I did a video about a couple of years ago. I just love going to these flea markets and collecting different pictures, but not all of these are just from flea markets. So for example, that was on my travels to India. This one is, of course, a watercolor of Mapperton, and that's one from India, and it's just fun. And dotted around down below, I've got pictures of the 4 kids. I decided to go black and white. So every picture you see here of the 4, oh gosh. So every picture you see of the 4 children is in black and white. I don't know, it's this aesthetic thing I wanted in.
Julie, you should also point out these brackets that are everywhere through the house and what they are for.
Yeah, so those big brackets that you'll see, obviously right there, there's one in the corridor, there's one down in the kitchen. They are to anchor the house in case of an earthquake, which there was a pretty horrific earthquake in, what was it,
in 1920.
Yeah.
So these hold the walls together because the house is 18th century. It's obviously ancient construction. And the hope is, if that ever happens, these brackets will hold it in one piece.
And voila, here we are up in the terrace. Like I said, when I came up here, it was actually a horrible, rainy February day. I have this brilliant photo that I took of Jack, our number 2, standing literally right here. And obviously this was completely empty. It was rainy and awful, but I took a picture because I thought, this is the view I want, this is the house I want, and fingers crossed I'm going to get it. So I've set it out for, again, we've been here for a few days. This is just lovely teak furniture, but I'm able to store it when I leave. And I have my wonderful 4 olive trees here, which I put in myself. But I have a fantastic neighbor who waters these for me. Many of you have asked about the watering, like what happens, but he does water them for me. He just leans over the railing, which is just brilliant. But again, up here, I found these. Again, you would have seen these in a video. I mean, literally, I think every single piece I have found throughout this house, I have actually documented on my YouTube channel throughout the past 5 years. I kid you not. Even putting together this teak furniture, I remember doing a time lapse. But these 2 urns I found, again, I mean, each of them were literally, I think I got 2 for 50 euros. That's just incredible. In England, it would have been 3 times that price, if not more. And this, I love this scheme. We do have a big umbrella. It's super hot today. We have a big umbrella that can shade us when it's super hot. And then you just get this fantastic view. You get the sound of the bells, bird song. You have neighbors walking by. You say ciao to my neighbors over there. When I'm out here doing yoga, etc., or just having an aperitivo, we have a big chat. And yeah, this is a tour of my little Italian house, and I can't wait to do another one. What I mean by that is, yeah, in my dreams, I hopefully will one day find another house and do it up, because I've so enjoyed doing this one. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is the end of the ultimate tour of my little Italian house. And I just want to say a huge thank you to so many of you who have been here from the beginning, supporting me, giving advice while I've been restoring, renovating, finding amazing flea market finds. But don't worry, there'll be plenty more to come. So I'll see you guys next on the channel when I'm back here at my little Italian house. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Bye, everybody.